I'm Sandy Adler, and I'm going to talk about a new platform that we just started using, Slate Student Success, a crossroads of effectiveness and efficiency. So one of the platforms that Sam actually mentioned this morning is MTS, which is our what we were using for our student tracking. We use it to house our attendance data, and what it also does have in it is some information on students. So you have their personal information, you have what their current program is, their current student services advisor, some grades, and there's some notes that you can do. But as we're growing, we needed something better, and we needed something more efficient, and we needed something that could help us grow and communicate better. So enter Slate Student Success. So a couple of years ago, we started using the Slate platform for admissions. And what we did is we went to Slate, and they started to build a platform for us for student success specifically. I'm going to talk about the 5 domains, but this is just the rollout plan that we had. So in May of last year, we started integrating the student data, and this was everything that was originally on that MTS platform. And then in about the start of the fall, everyone who was using the administrator properties in our MTS gained access to it, and we started using it regularly. We then built out forms and workflows, queries, communications, and this year we're starting to build out their portals. So I'll talk about each one individually, but this is sort of just a timeline that it's still in progress, and we're still building it out because it could do a lot more than any of our other platforms. So the 5 domains that I'll go through, I'm going to start with student data. So when you get to Slate Student Success, this student gave permission for us to use her picture. All information has been redacted. But this is what the home page looks like when you're looking at a student. And one of the great things that I really like about it is in the top search, that's predictive. So let's say you have 5 Jane Does. You start entering Jane Doe. It already knows, because it sees me, and you'll see it later, there's one, it knows my own landing page. It knows Dean of School of Allied Health, probably gonna have a health student, and it actually populates my health students above anybody else. I could have 2 Jane Does in the School of Allied Health, and then I have to figure out which one it is if I'm putting in their names. But if we're using their student ID number, it knows who they are automatically. And I'm gonna go through a lot of the information. But you can see the first page, it gives you, if there's a FERPA, the gender of the student, any pronouns they identify as, their citizenship, their athletes. Hold on. Wait, I went too far. So it gives you their academic standing on the landing page, which is really great. Automatically you know, is the student in good standing, or is the student back from dismissal, or are we worried about them with academic alerts? And then it also gives important links for our administration. So if a student services advisor has to register a student, that's the top link that everyone sees, so they can click it and go straight and register the student. For our financial aid folks, there's financial aid quoting a link, and it brings you to that student directly. So I don't have to remember who am I working with. It automatically takes that student, opens up the new platform, and I'm there. The next nice thing, just like Slate for admissions has, we have our timeline. So we're able to email and text students directly from the platform, and then I can see, did they open my email? And I could put on all their advisors, I could put on their professors, I could curate those emails exactly how I would curate them from my inbox, and it looks like I sent it from my inbox. And that's something I have used a lot. We could also see if a form was submitted for the student. So we have our student details, which is similar to what we had in MTS, where their grades are all there, their personal information is there, if they have a 504 plan. And what we've also done is we've integrated our Blackboard system. So if a student is submitting work and it's getting graded, I could see their grades. So for every class that they are registered for, I could see all submissions. So if I'm a student services advisor who does not have access to Blackboard, but I want to know how this student is doing, I can get in a flashpoint exactly how they're doing, and then I could say, hey, Jane, Why are you not doing so well in English? Can I get you support? What can I do to help you? We have the registered courses. Every course they're currently taking and have taken are all there. With our early alerts, we have a 5th week alert and we have a 9th week alert, so all the alerts pop up and all their grades do as well as the professor that they're taking, the time they're taking the class, so all the information is there. We also have a full program history. So our old platform just gave you a snapshot where the student is now. So if you have a student who started as an associate, now they're a bachelor, we'll tell you associate, graduated, bachelor's. But we also have students that hop and bop around programs. So I could see you started as a CJ associate, then you went this program, then you went to this program, and I'll get a better picture of the student themselves. It also gives all the advisors, including their financial aid advisor. So if a student comes to me with financial issues, instead of just going straight to Dan, who's in charge of financial aid, I can actually email their financial aid advisor first to see if they can assist them as well. And that's something that MTS did not have. Advising notes. This is my favorite part. I can't tell you how many students come into my office every day with an issue. And one of the things I really try to do is communicate with their student services advisors that there's a problem. So in this platform, I could write the note, Jane came to see me because she's concerned about this class. I could tag her advisor, and at the end of the day, Slate sends an email out to all the tagged individuals, and they'll see Sandy Adler saw Jane Doe today, and this problem is happening, and the advisor is in the loop. And it cuts down on me having to spend the extra time sending an email because it does it for me. It also gives a full list of holds, and it has start and end dates, so even if there's the disciplinary hold, if there's anything that's on the record of the student that's outside of academics, it pops up there. And it also gives a full list of transfer credits, including the class they took, where they took it from, the grade that they got, and the class it equals in Monroe. So it gives me a full snapshot, especially for our older adults who have gone to other institutions. I could see what they're bringing in. The next one is query and reports. And this, I think I put it here. So this is my landing page. The Slate Summit is taking place right now, so our Slate buddies are all there. But is this pointer work? Yeah. So you can see as the dean, I can actually click this. It will give me a full report of every single student in any of my programs. So if I, for some odd reason, need all that data, I can get it and export it to Excel. I can also see students that are not enrolled. So as right now we're starting registration, I can look at those that aren't registered yet for the fall. I could see anyone who got an early alert, and we're currently in the middle of our midterm alerts, so next week I'd be able to pull up everyone who got a midterm alert. This is what the query looks like when I get it, and I could easily export it to Excel. I can filter for whatever I filter for, and I could send out an email to them saying, hey, I noticed you got an alert. So if it's a sonography student, we have sonography tutoring. Here is our sonography tutoring list, and they can actively help themselves and get out of the academic warning. Then we have mailing and events. So this is an email that Slate Student Success will populate for me. I can brand it exactly how I want to brand it, and I could put in my signature. So if I send an email from Student Slate Success, it looks identical to if I send it from my Outlook, because we've made it that way. And then again, if I send it through the platform, I could see if the student opened the email or it was left unread. We also can make events and send out invitations through Slate Student Success. So at the end of every academic semester, our school has a completion ceremony for our clinical programs. And so I work with our Slate and our IT team. They create the event. I give them the list of student IDs. They send the invite out, and then I could get a full attendance, and I could curate it. So one of the things I started asking is, do you need busing? Because not everyone can get to where the event is. And instead of having it scribbled on a piece of paper at my desk, and then if I'm at home and I'm trying to figure out who is on it, I have it everywhere I go. And it works everywhere. It works on my tablet, it works on my phone. It is really great, and on a computer, obviously. We have forms and workflows, and we're still starting to build these out. So if I go back to my landing page, I have the first workflow that really would work for me, which is our curriculum committee. We have every semester they meet a few times, and it used to be I emailed one individual, here are the curriculum changes I want to make. They would house it, and when we needed the information to be dispersed, you would have to go to them, and they would give you the changes. Now everything is built into Slate, and everyone who needs access to it can just gain access themselves, and you don't have to email anyone for the list. And if you're looking at your workflow, it tells you exactly what's pending, what you've done, and it archives everything for you. So again, all of these things are just saving us time and building efficiency. We are still working on portals and creating portals. So our plan is to create portals for student onboarding, parental portals, faculty portals. Right now, faculty do not have access to this, but if they put in a note in the attendance system, so if they put a student in as late and they comment showed up at 9:16, in those advising notes, it pops up. So what they're putting in is important because I'll end up seeing it, or the administration who's looking at it will see it. And so what's great is it's increased our functionality, it improved our system integration, and it has fewer pain points. And what we've really seen, we've only used this for about 7 months, and since then we've seen a higher impact, and what I really like is better communication, because we cannot run without communicating between academics, student services, financial aid. We all work together as a team, and Slate Student Success has built that teamwork in a really efficient way. Thank you.